Welcome to part one of Double Under Mastery from mastersonfitness.com. I'm Aaron, and today we're talking about the single under. So you've probably heard before that you can't run until you can walk. Same is true with double unders. You're not going to knock them out or hit a whole bunch of them until you have single unders on lockdown. So that's what we're going to talk about today. The first thing that we want to talk about is bounding. Now, most of the time when people think of jump rope, it brings about its own misconception that you're actually jumping when the real movement is bounding. And when you're bounding, it's more of a light hopping movement. You're staying on the balls of your feet and bouncing off the ground very lightly and rhythmically. So the problem with jumping is there's often a little bit more torso lean. You're bending a little bit more at the knees to jump and explode upwards. When you're bounding, you're really just trying to bounce in place, really soft with the knees, and keeping the torso upright. This allows you to breathe a little bit better when you're bounding as well, and which will become really important when you're trying to knock out hundreds of double unders at a time. The bounding movement and light knees, quick off the ground, is really what allows you to rapidly string together double unders or single unders at a quick pace. The other point of performance that we really want to focus on when we're talking about single unders is learning to control the rope with your wrists. If you start to use too much arm motion, either at the elbow is where a lot of people will get some excessive movement, or they'll start to really work with their whole arms. That really is going to kill your ability to create speed and control over your rope. A great drill for understanding how to move the rope with your wrist instead of your arm is really to use a side swing. Put both handles into one hand, swing the rope out to your side, and even if you need to hold on to your wrist so that your forearm doesn't move around a whole lot, then you can spin that rope and see what it feels like to maintain a tempo with your rope and get some good spins in only using your wrist. Once you got your bounding on lockdown and you really have nice mechanics there, you're bouncing off the ground nice and quick, you're controlling the rope with your wrist now, using that side swing drill. Now we're going to give you a drill to work on to really start to put some speed on that rope. These are called single under accelerations. So if you watch the video, you'll see that I start with a couple normal speed single unders, and then I quickly try to just increase the pace until I miss, and then I start again. Remember again, we're just doing single unders here, quick low bounds, but this will help you really start to move that rope quickly and start to get an appreciation for how much speed you can put on that rope without even having to move that high off the ground. One other piece that I want to talk about when it comes to single unders and really jump roping in general is hand placement while you're jumping. So if your hands are too high, then obviously you have to bring your feet up higher because it causes more distance between the rope and the ground when it's passing underneath you. So if you bring your hands down a little bit, it'll give that rope a chance to sit on the ground a little bit more and give you a little bit more clearance underneath. Another thing, if you bring your hands out to the side, then that starts to change the arc of the rope underneath you as well, which brings it higher up. Again, you need more clearance. So typically, the ideal hand position is closer to your body and a little bit more down towards your waist or a little bit lower. And this all depends on the length of your rope that you're using. So kind of play with the hand placement and see what feels comfortable for you. But just keep those pieces in mind when you're jumping, and if you're starting to miss during drills, maybe just focus on your hand position and make sure they're in a good position, and that might give you enough clearance or a little bit of extra clearance so that you're able to string together more singles or doubles. So again, we're bounding, not jumping. We're using our wrists to control the rope, and we're going to use that single under acceleration drill to really start to work on our speed with both bounding and wrist control. In part two, we're going to be talking about the power bound and how that's really going to start giving you that clearance that it's required off the ground for double unders, and some additional drills and tips that go along with that. So be sure to hit subscribe down below so that you'll know when that video hits, or head on over to our channel I'll also put a link in the description once it's been posted. So thanks for watching. Head on over to part 2.